Wildfires tear through Abaco, coming dangerously close to homes. Tonight, residents relive terrifying moments as calls grow louder for better fire equipment in the Family Islands. This as dozens displaced, including doctors and nurses from abroad, after last week's Victoria Court inferno. The health minister says help is on the way. Plus,
in light of all the recent fires that have burned across the country, we speak to a fire specialist who tells us how you should keep your residents and business prepared.
And more than 3 million visitors landed in the Bahamas in just 3 months. While overall numbers are up, the Ministry of Tourism keeping a close eye on a dip in stopover and air arrivals. Then in our news at 7:30, wildfires come back into focus as they rage across New Providence, Grand Bahama, and Abaco. While a leading environmentalist says he believes the real danger isn't just dry weather. Our news live at 7 starts right now. Welcome to our news live at 7. Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Candino Knowles. Abaco residents tonight still reeling after facing a terrifying weekend of wildfires threatening homes and businesses. Fire crews battled tirelessly to save lives and property, but the ordeal has sparked renewed calls for better fire equipment on the Family Islands. One Abaconian whose home came within 40 feet of the flames spoke with Berthany McDermott. She described the scene as, quote, the gates of hell opening right in front of her.
It was the most terrifying thing I've ever seen. I hope I never see again.
This was the horrifying scene in the early morning hours this past weekend for Abaco resident Amy Albury as brush fires ravaged the Abaco forest near her home. She estimates the fire came up to 40 feet from her yard. While volunteer firefighters and residents fought the blaze, it was still one of the scariest moments of her life. She likened it to a hell-like experience.
The only thing I can describe it as, when it got just beyond the fire break, it literally looked like the gates of hell opened in that forest, and there were 20-foot bright red wall of flames.
But as Amy explained, the dangerous situation didn't start off that way. She said they did the best they could to protect their property from being consumed by the fire.
My boyfriend and I, we had sprinklers going in the yard all day long, saturating the grass. We kept spraying the roof with water. When
our news team landed in Abaco Monday, fire rescue teams were still on the lookout for hotspot areas that could reignite. Firefighters rushed to the area behind the Agape Christian School to quickly extinguish a small fire before it spread. Residents are thankful to a foreign homeowner who sponsored this plane that traveled from Texas with the ability to drop 900 gallons of water over the fire. Volunteer firefighter Stephen Leda says they've been battling blazes off and on for the past 3 weeks, but he doesn't believe the fires are happening naturally.
Fires don't just erupt at 10 o'clock at night. So we really, really do need the public's support and help in identifying these people that are starting these fires. We are all exhausted.
And while the worst is behind them, at least for now, this is what's left of the once green and vibrant bushes of Abaco residents stressing the need for more resources for their rescue fire department.
Philip Davis, please, sir, stop traveling and invest in some of our fire equipment that is needed throughout these family islands in Nassau.
It's the equipment need. We do have quite a bit of equipment, but obviously, as I just said, it's all donated and it's old equipment, which needs consistent maintenance.
Reporting for our news, I'm Berthany McDermott.
All right, thanks for that, Berthany. Meanwhile, last Thursday's devastating fire at Victoria Court Complex not only left dozens of Bahamian families displaced, there were foreign doctors and nurses who also lost everything. Health and Wellness Minister Dr. Michael Darville says his ministry is actively working to assist those affected by the tragedy.
Well, we have had discussions this morning about the displacement of some of our foreign nurses who lived at the Victoria facility. We would have more update as the days go by, but they are our family, and we need to find out how we can assist them with relocation and support.
And as firefighters around the country have had their hands full with several blazes in recent weeks, a fire specialist sharing tips on how to safeguard your home or businesses. As Joshua Williams tells us, it all starts with having a good strategy.
Fires have grabbed headlines in recent weeks, many of them burning close to homes and businesses, threatening lives and property. So what can you do to protect yourself? I spoke to Gary Goodman, a fire specialist, who says items like smoke detectors are vital.
This is very easy to be connected. This can save many lives. You just put this in your kitchen at your establishment, restaurant, and you just put this up, and this alarms you in case of any smoke, gas, or any type of thing.
Goodman says fire extinguishers should also be accessible.
But this here is a 5-pounder that you should have in your house at all times, that you can see it's this fire extinguisher, grease fire, electrical fire, and trash fire. This is a ABC dry chemical fire extinguisher. It's mixed with a 195 psi pressure with dry chemical, and when it unites, it goes off and takes care of whatever business or whatever situation you face.
Businesses have also been threatened by blazes. Goodman says businesses should also have proper plans.
You can see all of this here is sprinkler system, exit. You'll know what exit to run through if you're in a large building. You can see it all through the hotels. You see exit, you wonder why they have them exit sign, but they have evacuation to let you know exactly where to evacuate in case of a catastrophe.
Goodman, who has over 30 years in the fire safety business and is a member of several international bodies, reveals these startling statistics.
5,000 people are killed every year, all over the world, and you have about 80,000 what are injured.
Goodman says it's important to reach out to local fire safety companies to learn more about protecting your home and your business. Reporting for Our News, I'm Joshua Williams.
All right, thanks a lot for that, Josh. A 25-year-old inmate who escaped custody while awaiting trial for murder, armed robbery, and arson has been sentenced to 3 months in jail. Cyril Saltu pleaded guilty at his arraignment before Chief Magistrate Roberto Reckley. The court heard how the Jamaican national briefly evaded prison officers on April 27th after he jumped out of a window at Princess Margaret Hospital and fled. Saltu had been taken to the hospital for treatment after another inmate broke his jaw. He was shot and captured near Crooked Island Street. Prosecutors say Saltu murdered Johnson Joseph during an armed robbery at a store at Windsor Lane on February 13th and set the place afire. After the blaze was put out, police say they found Joseph's body bound at the hands and feet with multiple stab wounds. All right, while global travel uncertainty lingers, Tourism Director General Latia Duncombe says she's staying optimistic, announcing that 3.3 million visitors flocked to the Bahamas from January to March. That's up 9% from last year. However, she says air arrivals and stopover visitors did experience a slight dip with a 3% and 4% shortfall.
From a geopolitical perspective, there's been some shifts. What I'm really excited about is that the impact has only been 4%. from the stopover perspective. Amidst the uncertainty, there's also opportunities. Because of our strong global relationships, it makes the Bahamas very attractive.
Meanwhile, Duncombe says the ministry is boosting marketing efforts to keep the Bahamas top of mind for travelers. And with global uncertainty due to United States President Donald Trump's policies, the travel sector has certainly felt the pinch. We asked her if this could have an even bigger impact on the country's top industry.
I can share that for us, the outlook is positive. Historically, we've used forward keys and we've used that as a metrics, but we've seen over time that the booking window is shortened. And so we're not able to use that as an exact projection. With the level of uncertainty as well, it kind of causes things to shift just a little bit. And so for us, there's certainly a lot of opportunities in the midst of everything.
All right, we've got much more to get to tonight, but for now, it's time for your first look at temperatures. Meteorologist Greg Thompson, he's standing by in the Weather Center. Happy Tuesday, Greg.
Happy Tuesday to you too, and it is warm here and although also on the outside. Temperatures still at the 80-degree mark, mostly clear skies, east-northeast winds at 13 miles per hour, even though we have that slight breeze. Still feels like a very warm 82 degrees on the outside. Temperatures right now, very warm. 80 degrees in Freeport, 79, Salistown, Bimini, Great Harbor Key, Marsh Harbor, Abaco, 78, 79 in Governor's Harbor. Over Nicholson, Andros, 80 degrees here in the capital, 81. And then down into the central Bahamas, we have temperatures also near the 80-degree mark with Kemps Bay, Black Point at 80, 79, Arthur Sound, Cat Island, 78, Georgetown, the Exumas, Port Nelson, Rum Key, Coburn Townsend, Salvador, 77, as well as in Deadman's Key. And into the southeast Bahamas, 78, Duncantown, Ragged Island, Curl Hill, Crooked Island, Delectable Bay, Abrams Bay, Providencial is Turks and Caicos Islands, 82, and Matthew Town in Nagua, you have a temperature right now of 81. What's happening across our area? Dry air mass. High pressure is in charge. No rainfall, no moisture. The humidity is slightly lower, but it still feels very warm. And that dry air mass will continue to plague us for the next couple of days. So we're looking at some very warm temperatures over the next several days for the balance of the week, actually. So if you plan on being on the outdoors, two things. Stay hydrated and make sure you wear some protective clothing, as well as maybe even a broad brim hat. That's going to protect you. That's your first look at weather. Stick with us and look at your extended forecast is still here.
Coming up in sports, Paul Green's basketball path is taking him from JUCO to D2 and now to the highest level of college hoops.
Hey, Greg Thompson here, and thank you for watching. Be sure to hit that follow button. And if you want to see more content like this, follow all of our news social media pages. And hey, don't forget to turn on your notifications so you never miss out on the top stories from the team you already trust.
Welcome to Journey TV.
We do marketing and we do branding.
Training, you do everything.
I found that I'm my strongest when I am living in the very best version of myself.
Everybody looks at you and sees success, but they don't see the struggle.
Say that again, Ramona.
Downgrade your lifestyle, upgrade your hustle.
If we believe God is perfect.
Come on, McDonough, let's go.
Yeah.
Are we catching this blooper? Welcome to today's episode of Journey TV. Welcome to Journey TV.
I'm glad the Wally boys have split, because you know what? They know we ain't got no more competition.
The words on the Spelling Bee show in the lot.
Phosphorescent. Hey, it's the Charlie Bahama Show. Welcome, I'm your boy, Charlie Bahama.
New season of grooving is here.
Welcome to Our Sports at 7, presented by 10th year seniors. I'm Ronaldo Dorset. That's John Marknut. Let's do show. Paul Green's basketball path is taking him from JUCO to D2 and now to the highest level of college hoops. Green, a 6'6" forward, committed to the University of Maryland, Baltimore County in the America East Conference for the upcoming 2025-26 season. Under head coach Jim Ferry, the Retrievers finished 13-19 last year, 5-11 in the AEC. UMBC gained national notoriety in the 2018 NCAA tournament when they defeated Virginia to become the first number 16 seed to ever defeat a number 1 seed.
Colin Nick Farrington's Unreal College track and field season added another milestone.
The Southwest Baptist University Bearcat won an unprecedented fourth consecutive Great Lakes Valley Conference Track Athlete of the Year award at the conclusion of the GLVC Championships in Romeoville, Illinois. Farrington repeated as conference champion in both the 200, 400, and was a member of the second place 4x400 meter relay team.
The nation's second city continues to celebrate Carifta's success. This time it was the Grand Bahama Port Authority stepping up to honor the student athletes. The GBPA continued its long-standing support for local athletes participating in the Carifta Championships by sponsoring a float parade to celebrate the accomplishments achieved over the Easter holiday in Trinidad and Tobago. Co-chairman of the Grand Bahama Port Authority, Sarah St. George, said that it is her organization's mandate to continue to provide young Grand Bahamians with the support necessary to reach their full potential.
It's a quick turnaround for the Golden State Warriors' emotional high from Buddy Hield's performance in Game 7.
Warriors head coach Steve Kerr said Hield's record-setting performance against the Houston Rockets Sunday night was indicative of the work he's put in since he joined the team last offseason. The Warriors begin their second-round matchup against the Minnesota Timberwolves tonight at 9:30 p.m.
That'll do it for our sports. Stay tuned to our news at 7:30 for details on these stories and more.
When our news comes back from the break, we turn our spotlight to stories making headlines across the world as U.S. President Donald Trump suggests Canada would benefit as the 51st U.S. state. But Prime Minister Mark Carney fires back saying Canada is not for sale. Plus, the race to lead the 1.4 billion member Catholic Church heats up as 133 cardinals gather in the Sistine Chapel. And Barbie dolls, cars, and other products could cost more this holiday season as Mattel and Ford blame U.S. tariffs on rising costs. The story when our news returns.
Hey, watch the Charlie Bahama Show right here in Eleuthera, where we're going to see that Minutes family, the art. We're also going to go to the other side, the farm, and we're going to see a cute hot cake dog show.
That was the hummus. They make it right here. I'm sorry, I should have showed you before we ate it.
Check out the Charlie Bahama Show this week from Eleuthera on Channel 212, Cable Bahamas.
Welcome to Journey TV.
We do marketing and we do branding.
Training, you do everything.
I found that I'm my strongest when I am living in the very best version of myself.
Everybody looks at you and sees success, but they don't see the struggle.
Say that again, Ramona.
Downgrade your lifestyle, upgrade your hustle.
If we believe God is perfect.
Come on, McDonough, let's go.
Yeah.
Are we catching this blooper? Welcome to today's episode of Journey TV. Welcome to Journey TV.
I'm glad the Wally boys have split, because you know what? They know we ain't got no more competition.
The words on the Spelling Bee show in the lot.
Phosphorescent.
Hey, it's the Charlie Bahama Show. Welcome, I'm your boy, Charlie Bahama.
New season of groovin' is here. New season of groovin'.
This is our news. Welcome back. We turn our attention now to stories making headlines across the world. A bold claim from Donald Trump is sparking backlash, with the United States president suggesting Canada would be better off as America's 51st state. But Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney isn't having it, saying flatly that, quote, Canada is not for sale, end quote. Despite the tension, both leaders sat down for face-to-face talks in Washington today. Trump called the meeting friendly, while Canadian business leaders welcome what they hope is a fresh start.
As you know from real estate, there are some places that are never for sale.
That's true.
We're sitting in one right now, Buckingham Palace that you visited as well.
That's true.
Having met with the owners of Canada over the course of the campaign last several months, it's not for sale, won't be for sale ever. But the opportunity is in the partnership and what we can build together. And we have done that in the past.
I must say, Canada is stepping up the military participation because Mark knew, they were low and now they're stepping it up. And that's a very important thing. But never say never. Never say never.
Meanwhile, Trump's government now offering migrants in the country illegally $1,000 and a paid trip home if they agree to leave on their own. Homeland Security says it's a cheaper, safer alternative to arrest and deportation. The BBC reports one migrant has already taken a flight from Chicago to Honduras under the plan. President Trump says those who leave voluntarily might even get a chance to return legally in the future. But critics are calling it bribery and not policy. Meanwhile, former U.S. Vice President Kamala Harris back in the political mix, headlining a private New York fundraiser Tuesday to help Democrats boost donations. It's one of her first high-profile appearances since losing last November's election, and party leaders say she's still a galvanizing voice. The former VP has also been turning up the heat on Trump's policies and even made a surprise stop at the Met Gala this week. As Harris ramps up her public presence, speculation is swirling about a potential run for California governor or even president in 2028.
We all know President Trump and his administration and their allies are counting on the notion that fear can be contagious. They are counting on the notion that if they make some people afraid, it will have a chilling effect on others. But what they're overlooking, what they have overlooked, is that fear is not the only thing that's contagious. Courage is contagious.
The conclave to elect a new pope kicks off Wednesday behind closed doors in the Sistine Chapel. 133 cardinals under the age of 80 will vote in total secrecy on who should lead the 1.4 billion member Catholic Church after Pope Francis's death last month. The race wide open and no clear frontrunner has emerged. The Vatican says staff have prepared the Room of Tears where the next pope will first don his new robes. Until then, the cardinals are staying in Vatican guest house, cut off from the outside world. And Barbie could cost more this Christmas as toy maker Mattel says U.S. tariffs are driving up costs that will be passed on to shoppers. The company says it also plans to cut how many toys it makes in China for the American market. Meanwhile, car giant Ford says it's taking a $1.5 billion hit too, blaming Trump's steep import taxes. And they're not alone. Brands like Adidas, Intel, and Procter & Gamble all warn that prices may rise and a recession may be looming. Still to come in our news, today in history, find out interesting facts about the day that was May 6th. Then in our news at 7:30, nurses from Princess Margaret Hospital on a mission this Nurses Month, taking over Judith Thompson Primary School today. We'll show you the energetic pep rally showcasing the exciting world of nursing. But first, after close calls with devastating fires, Abaco residents raising funds for their own fire equipment. A Texas plane brings help, but locals say outdated gear is still a problem. One area MP calling for more government support when our news returns.
New season of groovin' is here. It will have your emotions moving, grooving, and even sometimes scared. Get in the groove with 242 Groovin'.
The words on the spelling bee show in the lad.
Phosphorescent.
Bougainvillea.
Never.
T. Where was the T earlier? You trust me?
No.
Good. No, I'm saying five over here.
Come on.
Okay, well, some of them.
Sleepy Lex has taken over the charts, but we got newcomers like Devondre and NF Trey climbing up to reach that #1 spot, while Travis Clark and Chase Fernandez is applying big pressure. Who will be #1 on upcoming shows of Rev Up? Buckle your seatbelt and find out. It's gonna be a wild ride.
Are you ready?
On this day in Bahamian history in 1926, Act number 27, known as the Cat Island and San Salvador or Watlin's Island Names Act, was enacted, altering the names of the two islands. San Salvador was renamed Cat Island, while Watlin's Island became San Salvador. In 1952, the Bahamas Amateur Athletics Association, B3As, was established. Later evolving into the Bahamas Association of Athletics Associations, its purpose was to represent Bahamian athletes in international competitions. May 6, 1973. The inauguration of the Bahamian Museum at Junbei Village took place, funded by contributions from students and teachers of the Bahamas. In 2015, Errol Brown, the lead vocalist of the soul funk group Hot Chocolate, passed away at the age of 71 at his residence in Nassau. Then fast forward to 2020, when the bridge linking Spanish Wells to Russell Island collapsed, though fortunately without casualties or injuries. However, the incident disrupted water supply to Russell Island. And in 2022, following medical examinations, 3 American tourists tragically lost their lives due to carbon monoxide poisoning at Sandals Emerald Bay Resort in Georgetown, Exuma. All right, Lewis & Steen's Coffee House is expanding its brand new, or with a brand new, location. The family-owned business now serving up its signature Louisiana-style coffee and cuisine from their new home at John Watling's Distillery. The latest location pairs New Orleans-inspired charm with the ambiance of historic downtown Nassau. Customers can enjoy coffee and quick grab-and-go menu items, all in a setting that blends heritage and hospitality. During the ribbon-cutting ceremony, one of the owners, Joyce Carter Russell, expressed her joy to carry on her family's legacy.
The company motto is Brewing Love. Lewis & Steen's offers an authentic New Orleans space right here in the Bahamas for business people, for family, for friends, and also for tourists to meet, to greet, and connect over a cup of the best specialty coffee and authentic New Orleans cuisine. And yes, all of this without having to pay the great expense of traveling to New Orleans.
It's the company's 3rd location, and they're showing no signs of slowing down, with plans for a 4th location at Rubens Gas Station on Shirley Street this Thursday.
Tomorrow, we're opening up another coffee shop. Rubens Shirley Street will be opening up tomorrow morning at 7:30. So we are busy, and this is not the only one. We're going to be opening up quite a bit of coffee shops throughout the Bahamas and throughout. Well, let me just back. I don't want to tell you everything. I don't want to tell you everything, but there's a lot of stuff brewing.
All right, if you want to watch that story again and for all of today's top stories, you can visit ournews.bs. That's going to do it for us in News at 7. Joining us now is Natalia Hall with the latest headlines. Natalia?
Ken, happy Tuesday.
Happy Tuesday.
We're almost there.
Listen, Lewis & Steen's coffee,
yeah,
really good.
Really good. I go there all the time. I like the beignets.
Yes.
Yeah, they're really good.
The Cajun shrimp and grits.
Grits, really good. Yeah.
I
love it. All right, thanks so much, Ken. Well, coming up, nurses from the Princess Margaret Hospital on a mission this Nurses Month, plus a fresh class of public officers on Grand Bahama. Here are your latest headlines.
First tonight on our News Live at 7:30 as wildfires sweep across the island. One environmentalist says dry weather isn't the only thing fueling the flames. Also, Abaco residents are taking matters into their own hands, raising money for fire equipment after flames nearly consumed homes over the weekend. Our news team was on the ground. Plus, the Prime Minister is set to meet with U.S. officials in Washington to clarify the Bahamas' stance on Cuban healthcare workers. And later, U.S. President Donald Trump nearing 100 days in office with low approval numbers. RF Bank's David Slatter weighs in on what this may mean for the global economy when our News Live at 7:30 returns.
Candino Nodes here, and thank you so much for watching. Be sure and hit that follow button if you want to see more stories like this. Be sure and follow all of the R News social media pages. And hey, don't forget, turn on your notifications so you never miss out on top stories from the team you already trust.
Family, how you look so down? Set up all cold and flu, could flip that frown. All the coughing and that running nose cannot last. You must come back to work and class. Set up all can deal with that fast, yeah. Try set up all cold and flu, daytime and nighttime too. Try Cetamol, cold and flu, and get back to the better you. Available at pharmacies nationwide.
Distributed by Lowe's Wholesale Drug Agencies Limited.
Get ready to shop till you drop. The Vitamalt shopping spree is back, and you could be the next winner of a $500 shopping spree. Here's how to enter. Buy a 6-pack of ginger, acai, or coconut and hibiscus Vitamalt from any Super Value or 700 Wines and Spirits location. Snap a picture of your receipt and WhatsApp your name and photo of the receipt to 825-2191. This promotion ends Saturday, April 19th. Will you be the next lucky shopper? Vitamalt. Vitalize naturally.
Inti Corporation is on the move, day by day, panel by panel. Our commitment to sustainable energy becomes more real. With each milestone, Inti redefines.
Welcome to our news. Thanks so much for joining us. I'm Natalia Hall. With brush fires burning across parts of the Bahamas, including here in New Providence, as well as Grand Bahama and Abaco, concerns are mounting about the frequency and intensity of these fires. Environmentalist Joe Darville is sounding the alarm, saying the issue runs deeper than dry weather. Our Delvado Emmanuel reports.
These fires have started where there is indiscriminate dumping. I mean, on one particular road here in Freeport, in one less than a quarter mile, I counted 750 bottles.
In neighborhoods, on highways, even deep in forests, bushfires are breaking out with alarming frequency. Environmentalist Joe Darville says while dry conditions create the perfect storm, many of these blazes are far from natural. Darville says illegal dumping of trash, construction materials, and household waste is creating the perfect conditions for fires to spark, especially in areas with no regulation or surveillance.
We're treating our Mother Earth like she's a garbage dump. You know, we're not caring for her at all. And there seem to be no penalties for this indiscriminate dumping.
Adding to that, a rising presence of brackish fern, a native plant whose roots can withstand extreme heat and regrow rapidly after fire.
The bracken fern is intimately connected to all of this, our pine, Caribbean pine. So we got to study what is in the environment and then be able to care for it.
He says the lack of resources and planning for fire response is putting entire communities at risk. He's calling for more hydrants, better equipment, and strategic fire breaks.
We cannot wait on water. We cannot have one fire truck available and then others to keep going back and forth, finding out where there is water access. And also, now with all the fires happening, there has to be fire hydrants all throughout the communities.
Darville is pushing for a national campaign to stop illegal dumping, coupled with stronger environmental laws and active enforcement.
You need experts people, environmentalists, forest people who can advise accordingly.
Reporting for our news, I'm Delvado Emmanuel.
And after weeks of battling fires, Abaco residents are taking matters into their own hands. They're raising funds to purchase their own fire equipment. It comes after a weekend of fires that came close to taking homes. Residents are thankful to a foreign homeowner who sponsored this plane that traveled from Texas with the ability to drop 900 gallons of water over the fire. But it's still not enough, as firefighters complained of age-old equipment that constantly needs maintenance. In addition to the plea for help, Central and South Abaco Member of Parliament John Pinder is calling for more government funding.
What would be really helpful is financial subvention from central government to assist with a lot of the costs that these volunteer fire and rescues endure, especially at times like this. So I encourage anybody that wants to make a donation, and I plead for a financial subvention from central government to the volunteers so that we can mitigate some of these costs.
Press Secretary in the Office of the Prime Minister, Keisha Adderley, confirming to reporters today that the government is sourcing for more services equipment.
Even before the season began, the government was in the process of sourcing those pieces of equipment, fire trucks, fire ladders, additional apparatus, and the training and recruitment of officers to work within the fire branch as well. From my understanding, there are about at least 20 major pieces of equipment that are being sourced to cover New Providence and the Family Islands.
Well, Andros Chamber of Commerce President Darren Bethel says the local business community did not get any warning from the Bank of the Bahamas after the bank announced plans to downsize services. BOB announced it would reduce its services in South Andros to 1 in-service day per week. Bethel says it's an added inconvenience for the island where banking is already scarce. Last week, Area Member of Parliament Leon Lundy blasted the decision, describing it as pushing his community down a path of neglect. Bethel says while he understands banks operate and move where there is a business demand, they should have been consulted first.
That they should have consulted and taken in consideration that majority of business owners are in the further south, and it would be more convenient for folks in Mangrove Key to transition regularly into South Andros by way of ferry, for services rather than a larger amount of people having to catch a ferry into Mangrove Key. Even the citizenry, the population is probably triple compared to Mangrove Key.
Family Island Affairs Minister Clay Sweeting says there has been persistent challenges with Family Island banking, but he says it now creates opportunities for other local banks and digital wallet services. Bethel says while they've been educating islanders on the benefits of 21st century banking, adjusting will take some time.
They have converted in some ways, but there's people just still stuck on the traditional banking. And I think that NASA would have been more convenient for them to try and push more into digital banking than the Family Island. I don't understand the logic in it, because they feel as if that Family Island would have been easier, when in fact we are more rural in our operations, we are more rural in our services, and so it's a harder transition for us than it would be the city.
Is discussing issues surrounding the compensation arrangement of Cuban healthcare workers with the U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio in Washington, D.C. today. Acting Press Secretary Keishla Adderley told reporters at a press briefing that the Prime Minister, along with his delegation, are looking to get a better understanding of the issue. Earlier this year, Rubio announced visa sanctions against foreign governments that are a part of Cuba's overseas medical missions. At the meeting, Adderley says the PM will make it clear that the Bahamas does not participate or support any forced labor practices.
On that contentious issue of the Cuban nurses and how their salaries are allocated, which was, of course, brought up by Mr. Rubio several weeks ago, the Prime Minister goes into that meeting trying to get a clearer understanding of where the disconnect or problem lies. Is it that the U.S. government does not want us to engage Cuban workers at all? Is it that there are questions over how their salaries are allocated? So he really wants to get that clear and get to the bottom of this matter.
Former U.S. President Donald Trump has returned to the Oval Office. He saw some of the strongest poll numbers seen in his political career. But come Thursday, he will hit the 100-day mark of his presidency. Global media reports suggest public opinion in the U.S. has taken a sharp turn. Trump's approval rating is reportedly the lowest on record for any newly elected president at this stage. A recent CNN report shows a drop in support, with his approval rating falling by 4 points since March and 7 points since late February. Only 22% of Americans say they strongly approve of the way he's handling the presidency, a new low. During our monthly sit-down interview with RF Bank and Trust Vice President and Group Head of Investment David Slatter, he weighed in on the situation.
I believe I'm correct in saying that this is the worst rating of a U.S. president in the first 100 days, over the last 50 years. So you've got to go back half a century to get, poll numbers that are this poor. The poll numbers speak for themselves. They say what Americans feel about the government. A lot of the things that have been done weren't actually said explicitly, right? I mean, what was promised was lower prices, great growth. We're going to be stronger, the greatest country ever. But what's ironic is that, the U.S. has been the top economic powerhouse for the last few years, right? Their rate of growth has exceeded the other parts of the world. All right. When it comes to manufacturing, they're the second largest manufacturer in the world after China. So, I mean, they're already the world leader in so many ways. So this idea that somehow they had fallen into a position that needed to be rebuilt was misleading.
All right, well, a beautiful evening across the islands. Wondering how long the nice conditions will last. Meteorologist Greg Thompson is in the Weather Center live with your first look at weather. Greg, any rain in the forecast? Some good news?
No, not at all. And it's unfortunate because we've been having all those fires out there. We do need the rain, but it is going to remain very dry for the next several days as a ridge of high pressure dominates our weather. Keeping us warm, 79 degrees outside the studios, a few clouds, so we're calling it mostly clear skies. East-northeast winds at 13 miles per hour, and it still feels like it's in the 80s. 82 degrees is what it feels like on the outside. Satellite radar composite, there is absolutely nothing happening across us. Dry air mass is in place, high pressure dominating, and that's going to remain with us for the next several days before we do see the chance of some showers, and that will likely happen Sunday into Monday. But in the meantime, we're wanting to ask you, if you plan on doing anything outdoors, make sure you stay hydrated and make sure you wear some sun protective clothing as well as a big brim. That could help you along the way. That's a quick check on conditions around the islands. Stick with us. Look at your extended forecast is still good.
Still to come on our news, the Ministry of Health signs a multi-million-dollar contract for a new national reference lab. Hear why officials say it's long overdue. Plus, a special pep rally at a local primary school brings nurses and young minds together. And later, a group of public servants in Grand Bahama takes part in a training session through a one-day seminar focused on expectations and growth in government service. The story when our news continues. Stay with us.
Inti Corporation is on the move, day by day. Panel by panel, our commitment to sustainable energy becomes more real. With each milestone, INTI redefines what is possible. Not only are the Lucayas solar power projects on the island of Grand Bahama growing in scale, they are setting a new standard for energy independence in the Bahamas. These state-of-the-art solar farms at the Fairfield and Devon sites, once completed, will harness the power of the sun to generate 9.5 megawatts of clean, sustainable energy. INTI is on the move as a beacon of progress and innovation that is rapidly transforming our energy landscape. Witness the future of sustainable energy unfolding on the island of Grand Bahama as INTI Corporation shines brighter than ever. INTI Corporation, powering your world, powering your future.
Mosquitoes becoming an issue? Struckham Commercial Pest Services is the #1 service provider for vanquishing those annoying bugs. Mosquitoes are more than a nuisance. They're also a health risk, transmitting diseases including malaria, dengue fever, and even the West Nile virus. With accredited verified training and technology, Struckham will deal with the conditions that invite mosquitoes, tackle current infestations, and stop their life cycle, therefore reducing the number of mosquitoes on your corporate property. Struckham, #1 in pest control services.
Sleepy Lex has taken over the charts, but we got newcomers like Devondre and NF Trey climbing up to reach that #1 spot, while Travis Clark and Chase Fernandez is applying big pressure. Who will be #1 on upcoming shows of Rev Up? Buckle your seatbelt and find out. It's gonna be a wild ride.
Are you ready?
The Ministry of Health signing a major contract Monday for a new national reference lab. The $2 million agreement will fund the construction of a new facility under the ministry's Laboratory Services Unit, which supports both the Department of Public Health and the Public Hospitals Authority. The project is being supported by the Inter-American Development Bank. Health and Wellness Minister Dr. Michael Darville says the country's national reference lab is already internationally recognized, but the current facility located in the old Victoria Hotel has outgrown its space. He says construction of the new lab will take approximately 12 months.
For the last 3 years, we have been with the IDB working out the parameters for moving that lab to a new location, which will be the old mortgage COP, where we will renovate and we would add additional services, and the National Reference Lab would lead the way in many of our gene sequencing, our HIV testing, COVID-19, infectious diseases, and the list goes on and on. And so today is a direct result of almost 3 years worth of work, and we are ready to sign this contract and get on with the work.
As the new facility is developed, Dr. Darville says 3 key elements will guide the project.
Resilience to natural disasters, very important in upgrades. 2, sustainability in energy, efficiency, and the implementation of EDGE certification for all of our buildings. Adequate design that takes into consideration the flow as a result of infectious diseases. Today, this nearly $2 million contract signing is between my ministry and Scorpio Construction Limited. Followed a competitive bidding system by way of the IDB.
Right, well, May is Nurses Month, and to celebrate, there are several activities planned and events over the next few weeks. One of those events happening at the Judith Thompson Primary School in Centerville this morning. That's where nurses from the Princess Margaret Hospital held a pep rally as a part of their community outreach program. Dozens of nurses interacted with young students, introducing them to their medical profession. Nursing officer at the Princess Margaret Hospital, Candace Campbell, says they were happy to share their everyday experiences with the students.
We have to impress on students that their career paths are there that are available to them, and at an early age, we expose them to education, how to get there. Okay, and so it's very important at an early age for us to impress upon students the importance of education and the importance of choosing a career path that's impactful. And I'm biased, I'm a registered nurse, and so of course, registered nurses, we rock, okay? So it's very important at a very early age that we expose students to the field of nursing.
Students in the 5th and 6th grade receive pencil cases with school supplies. For Principal Katharina Williams, is another opportunity for her and her team to empower the students.
For the nurses to come in, our students are excited about it. We did a little survey about the number of persons that want to go in the medical field, and it was amazing how many of them have nurses in their families and want to be nurses that we did not even consider it. And so this is giving us another idea for next semester that we're going to build on. We have people coming from Doctors Hospital every month to share with our children. Now we're going to expand that program by using the persons from the Princess Margaret Hospital.
It's now time for tonight's Financial Market Minute, brought to you by RF, your local investment bank. This has been your Financial Market Minute. To explore the best performing mutual funds in the Bahamas, visit our website at www.rfgroup.com.
When our news comes back from the break, we take you inside a seminar in Grand Bahama aimed at preparing the next generation of Bahamian public officers.
Coming up in sports, Paul Green heads to UMBC, another Athlete of the Year award for Colony Farrington, more celebrations for Carifta athletes, and for Buddy Hield.
New season of grooving is here. It will have your emotions moving, grooving, and even sometimes scared. Get in the groove with 242 Grooving.
Bulk up your business and communication with parents, students, and staff in seconds with a live business bulk SMS messaging. This is the perfect tool to keep you connected and easily send important updates, event reminders, and emergency alerts. Keep your campus informed and connected with bulk SMS messaging from a live business. The right choice for fast, reliable communication. For more information, contact the experts.
The words on the spelling bee show in the lad. Phosphorescent. Bougainvillea. Woo! Never. T. Where was the T in here? You trust me? No. Good. No, I'm saying pipeline over here. Coca-Cola. Okay, well, some of them.
Welcome to Our Sports, presented by 10th year seniors. I'm Ronaldo Dorset. That's Sean Marknut. Let's do show. Paul Green's basketball path has taken him from JUCO to D2 and now to the highest level of college hoops. Green, a 6'6" forward, committed to the University of Maryland, Baltimore County in the America East Conference for the upcoming 2025-26 season. Under head coach Jim Ferry, the Retrievers finished 13-19 last year, 5-11 in the AEC. UMBC gained national notoriety in the 2018 NCAA tournament when they defeated Virginia to become the first number 16 seed to ever defeat a number 1 seed. After a high school career at St. George's, Green began his collegiate career at Three Rivers Community College, where he averaged just about 8 points and 8 boards per game. He then transferred to Chipola College, where he averaged 7.2 points per game and helped lead the team to the NJC2A Final Four. The latest stop was Southern New Hampshire University, where he became a key player for the Penmen and averaged 14 points and 12 boards per game with 20 double-doubles. He earned a spot on the Northeast 10 All-Tournament team and led SNU to its second consecutive conference title.
Colony Farrington's Unreal College track and field season added another milestone. The Southwest Baptist University Bearcat won an unprecedented 4th consecutive Great Lakes Valley Conference Track Athlete of the Year award at the conclusion of the GLVC Championships in Romeoville, Illinois. Farrington repeated as conference champion in both the 200, 400, and was a member of the second place 4x400 meter relay team. She ran 23.02 in the 200, 53.16 in the 400. Both were new GLVC records and NCAA provisional qualifying marks. Farrington helped the Bearcats to a 3rd place finish with 107 points. Up next on our calendar, Farrington takes on the NCAA Championships May 22nd to 24th in Pueblo, Colorado.
The nation's second city continues to celebrate Carifta success. This time it was the Grand Bahama Port Authority stepping up to honor the student athletes. The GBPA continued its long-standing support for local athletes participating in the Carifta Championships by sponsoring a float parade to celebrate the accomplishments achieved over the Easter holiday in Trinidad and Tobago. Co-chairman of the Grand Bahama Port Authority, Sarah St. George, said that it is her organization's mandate to continue to provide young Grand Bahamians with the support necessary to reach their full potential.
All the parents of all these young Carifta champions want to continue the celebrations, and they deserve to continue the celebrations, of course. We jumped at the opportunity to be able to sponsor the float today.
It's a quick turnaround for the Golden State Warriors' emotional high from Buddy Hield's performance in Game 7. Warriors head coach Steve Kerr said Hield's record-setting performance against the Houston Rockets Sunday night was indicative of the work he's put in since he joined the team last offseason.
You know, he's one of the best three-point shooters in the league, and he's had a really successful career, but this is really his first real playoff run, and I think he is relishing it, and the guys, they see how much he loves it and how much he wants to contribute. And
the Warriors begin the second-round matchup against the Minnesota Timberwolves tonight at 9:30 p.m.
That'll do it for our sports. This is 10YS. Okay, we got to keep a tradition going, so I got to ask you again. It's game 1. You nervous?
No, shoot or shoot.
All right, let's hope this works again. Back to the studio.
Still ahead on our news tonight, a number of new recruits and interns in the public service on Grand Bahama takes part in a one-day training session. The story when our news continues. Stay with us.
Yo, what's good, my loyal viewers? Ronaldo Dorset of 10YS here. First of all, thanks so much for watching, but be sure to hit that follow button. If you'd like to see more content like this, follow all of the R News social media pages, and of course, don't forget to turn on your notifications so you never miss out on the top stories from the team, well, from the teams you already trust.
Welcome to Journey TV.
We do marketing and we do branding.
Training, you do everything.
I found that I'm my strongest when I am living in the very best version of myself.
Everybody looks at you and sees success, but they don't see the struggle.
Say that again, Ramona.
Downgrade your lifestyle, upgrade your hustle.
If we believe God is perfect.
Come on, McDonough, let's go. Yeah. Are we catching this blooper? Welcome to today's episode of Journey TV.
Hey, watch the Charlie Bahamas show right here in Eleuthera, where we're gonna see that Minutes family, the art. We're also gonna go to the other side, the farm, and we're gonna see a cute hotcake dog show.
That was the hummus. They make it right here. I'm sorry, I should have showed you before we ate it.
Check out the Charlie Bahamas show this week from Eleuthera on Channel 212, Cable Bahamas.
The wait is over. We're back with a new season of 242 The Gospel. Great artists, new videos.
This is our news. Welcome back. We've been stuck in this pattern for the last couple of days. Dry air mass in place, high pressure is in charge, and looks as though we're not going to see much in terms of any significant rainfall before we do see a front come through. This time of the year, we're not seeing much of the fronts make it all the way into the Bahamas, so we may get a spotty shower with the next system, but that high pressure system will continue to dominate our weather for the next several days. Actually, temperatures are going to start to climb to near the summertime values, close to the upper 80s. And we are going to see 1 or 2 scattered showers across the Florida area. Some of that may make its way into the Bahamas. But in the meantime, that high pressure system will keep all the storm systems well to the north of us. Very weak frontal boundary across the north central portions of Florida will stay there. And that high pressure, as I mentioned, will stay across us. So if you plan on doing anything on the outdoors, make sure you stay hydrated and wear some protective clothing due to the high indices. Boating forecast for tonight through tomorrow for the northwest Bahamas. Those winds will fall off light and variable, but they become more northeast to east tomorrow, 10 to 15 knots. Seas will be running 2 to 4 feet. Low tide will be at 10:52 tonight. Your high tide takes place at 4:55 in the morning. For the central and southeastern islands, this is how things are going to be shaping up. If we can get this, there you go. Sorry. Oh, now for your national forecast. In the extended forecast, quiet weather. We had a little glitch in the computer system there now, but it's looking pretty nice for the next several days. Warm temperatures expected, but as I mentioned, look at those temperatures. By the end of the week, we expect those temperatures to be in the upper 80s. So make sure you stay protected, and we could even see almost a 90 by Tuesday next week. That's a look at our weather. Make it a safe night, everybody.
Nice temperatures, Greg, but I'm hoping for some rain for Grand Bahama, Abaco, and here in the capital. Not going to see that anytime soon. I'm praying, God.
Maybe next week. Maybe next week.
All right, thanks so much, Greg. Well, a fresh class of public officers getting a structured start to their careers. This as the Ministry of Labor and Public Service, through its Public Service Center for Human Resources Development, recently hosted a one-day seminar in Freeport for participants of the Public Service Professional Engagement Program, also known as PSPAP, as well as newly hired officers now transitioning into the public service, held at the ministry's training center downtown Freeport. The orientation provided an introduction to the expectations within the public service. Representatives from the University of the Bahamas, BTVI, Tarif College, and BIBT were also on hand. Laverne Gardner was one of the presenters. Head of the unit, Carla Brown-Roker, explained the goal of the seminar.
We are hoping to change the public perception of public servants in many instances where the public complains about not having the best service in walking into certain departments and ministries. We would like to change the mindset, and we are challenging the participants of the public service who are in this seminar today to be an agent of change.
And I wanted the attendees to really see the part that they play in creating a positive customer experience, whether they are dealing with the public or they just have to interact with their internal customers. They are creating experiences, and it's their responsibility to be empowered to make the right decisions.
Some attendees reflected on what they learned and how it could impact their work.
She's talking about customer service, and I think that that is important for us in the Bahamas, because I think where we're so located closely to the United States, I think this is one of the things that we were losing along the way. And so it's important for us to get these tips. They are helpful.
Seminar today is very important so we can change, so we can be the change that these government offices need in order to bring in a new approach to customer service.
All right, if you want to see that story again, it's available now at ournews.bs. And remember, we are on Instagram and Facebook at Our News Bahamas. Be sure to check it out. And with that, we thank you for joining us for Our News tonight. On behalf of the entire team, I'm Natalia Hall. We'll see you tomorrow night. Have a great evening. Hi, and thank you for watching. I'm Natalia Hall. Be sure and hit that like and subscribe button if you want to see more content like this. Click right over here. And don't forget to turn on your notifications to see more content from the team you already trust.